Hey, it's Carrie Van Ice here at Get Your Vibe Right, and today I want to talk a little bit about how our ego can get attached to certain personality traits because we get a payoff from them. So let me put this into context with you. Recently I was working with somebody who had very high anxiety to the point of getting panic attacks. So this was limiting his ability to leave the house, it was limiting his ability to interact with his partner, his children, all kinds of issues were coming from this. So he came to me in hopes that I could use the belief code to help him overcome this challenge of high anxiety. We did some looking in the belief code, and the way that the belief code works is it will find what's called a belief structure that is comprised of several different false beliefs or statements that are contributing to the issue that we're working with. So in this case, one of the statements that came up was, I don't want to share. And generally when something like this comes up, people get a little bit defensive and they're like, whoa, that doesn't sound like me at all. I'm not like that. I'm actually very generous. And you have to understand that this isn't always the way that we think about sharing at first blush. So sometimes I'll say to my clients, don't get too attached to this. It's not really that big of a deal. This isn't a judgment. Maybe it's that you don't want to share your emotions with others because you don't want to burden them, for example. And he was like, oh no, I don't have any qualms about sharing this with anybody at all. I'm actually quite open about it. I let pretty much everybody know. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not that. We don't really know. We went on to find some other things, and then we came back to clear this particular false belief from the belief structure and delete it from the subconscious mind. And as a practitioner, I have a very unique way of clearing and receiving information. So maybe unlike, I think other practitioners do this too, but I receive additional information because I'm empathic around where this came from and how it's playing out in the life of my client. So in this case, this no will to share, I started clearing this and getting some information about how this was showing up. And I said, oh, I don't really think you're gonna like this, but let me just be honest with you. What I'm actually perceiving here is that this I don't want to share energy is related to the anxiety itself. Meaning you're kind of like, oh, you can't have anxiety. I'm the person with anxiety. I'm the one who has anxiety. You can't have anxiety. You have panic attacks. No, I'm the person who has panic attacks. And so it was clear to me that what was going on was there was an attachment to the anxiety because there was a payoff that was happening. I don't know what the payoff is exactly for this person, but I could give a couple of examples to make this make sense. If, let's say this person is in a relationship and he's not getting the type of attention that he wants from his partner, all of a sudden he has a panic attack and his partner becomes very attentive, checking in all the time, taking care, being more nurturing, sending more text messages, and then all of a sudden my anxiety has a benefit. It has a payoff to it. So there becomes this subconscious connection between the symptom, in this case anxiety, and a benefit or a payoff. In my example, this person's getting the attention they were lacking. They're using anxiety as a tool to get their needs met. And if you're struggling with something in your life and you've been struggling with it for a while and you can't really figure out how to move beyond it, maybe it's something physical, maybe it is anxiety or depression that's more what we would consider to be emotional, I would encourage you and invite you to get really real with yourself and ask yourself, is there a payoff here that I might not be seeing? What does this get me? By having this problem or this symptom, what benefits do I get from the world around me? And just play this as a little mental game. Try not to get too defensive about it. Try not to get too judgmental about it. You don't have to tell anybody else, but really, really be honest with yourself, because had we not discovered for this gentleman that he was getting some kind of payoff, like he was really attached to this, like, no, I'm the person with anxiety. I'm the one who has that. And so I knew, ooh, there's got to be some benefit here. Had we not discovered that, as much as he didn't really like hearing that or acknowledging it, at least it gave him information to say, maybe I do need to take a look and see if maybe I am using this as a tool to get some needs met, and there's another way for me to get those needs met, which means I can let go of this. I no longer need to be using this in that way. Now, please understand, this is not a judgment at all. We all do this. We all use little things like this as tools to get our needs met. But in this case, he really wanted to heal from this. He really wanted to let go of this anxiety and not need it anymore, not have to deal with it anymore. So this was just one more thing that was revealed when we did our session, that he was actually using this personality trait in a way to get some kind of external benefit. Maybe you are too, and you can go ahead and look at anything in your life that seems like maybe you would really like to move on from it, but you just haven't been able to. It could be that this is the dynamic that's going on there too, and once you know, you can start to use other tools, healthier tools maybe, to get those needs met.